guys, this is Robby from Airsoft again, and welcome back once again to AK month. The entire month of December we're going to be going over different AK style variants along with different AK loadouts and chest rigs and whatnot that you can sort of set up for the AK platform. A little bit of history on the AK. The AK-74 or AK-47 or the precursor to either of those was originally designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov toward the end of World War II in the year of 1945. Kalashnikov really never knew what this gun would become. He designed it originally as a very rugged, simple alternative to other rifles of the time, such as the STG-44, which was used by the Germans in World War II. It has a lot of similarities to that rifle, but it quickly bloomed into a gun that was widely used across the world. There are many different variants, the two most popular being the AK-47 and the AK-74, which are differentiated depending on the type of caliber that they use. So first off, I'm not gonna mess around. This is the Echo 1 Red Star AK-74, or the AK-74U, as some of you might know it, due to the shorter barrel length and the side folding stock. So as I just said, the stock does fold to the side. So if you have some CQB action going on, fold your stock in, run into a room, and you'll be nice and short for whatever you are doing in a close quarters situation. Other thing that assists with that is the short barrel. This thing is tiny, and I'm not exactly a big guy, so it might look a little big on me, but this thing is tiny. I believe at the muzzle it's a 7.5-inch barrel. The larger muzzle brake on here, the AK style muzzle brake, adds a couple inches of length, but if you take that off and throw on, say, a normal style birdcage or anything, flash hider of that type, you have a really tiny gun to run in CQB. This is an example of an AK-74, which you can distinguish in Airsoft at least by the magazine type. The real one uses a 5.45 by 39 caliber, and that allows the magazines on the real one to be much straighter and much more low profile than the AK-47 mags, which you will see on the next rifle I have. And the nice thing about that, for airsoft wise and real steel alike, these magazines fit into M4 pouches phenomenally. So if you already have an M4 that you like and you want to get into AKs, I would highly recommend the 74 variant. Due to the magazine that they come with, and this magazine fits great into any M4 pouch. To access the battery, this guy's wired to the top. This is one of my favorite features about the gun. So you press the button on the back here, pop the upper receiver off, and unlike most AKs, this one has a hinge on the front which keeps you from losing the upper receiver, having to fumble around with it when you put the battery in the battery compartment and put it all back together. So that's a really solid feature about this gun that I love a lot. Like all AKs, to access the hop-up unit, you pull back the charging handle here, and you have your little hop-up unit here with the lever that you can use to adjust the hop-up. So you pull that lever back for more, so toward the stock of the gun for more hop-up, and push it back forward for less hop-up. So very simple. AK hop-ups are renowned for holding their zero very well. Gives you a nice accurate weapon that you won't have to mess around with the hop-up on the field. So it holds its zero very well. This guy in particular, along with most of the Echo 1 rifles, shoots right around 380 to 400 feet per second. Which is great, makes a great field gun. Obviously for CQB, most CQB limits are much less than 400 feet per second, so you're going to have to do something to get this under the feet per second restrictions. But even for field play, this would be a very competent rifle. Nice thing about the Echo 1 AKs, due to this guy being wired to the top, it is a direct drop-in for any version 3 fusion engine, no matter what generation. So this guy is an absolute great choice if you want to get a Polar Star set up. Drops right in, battery goes up top. I've done a few of these and they're a pleasure to work on. Very simple and easy to do, no modifications. This is a great candidate for a Polar Star build as well. Okay, next up I have a bit of a more high-end rifle. This is the G&G RK104, which is one of their high-ends. As you will see by the magazine on this guy is has a little more curvature going on. It's a little fatter, which means that this is cloned off of a real steel AK-47 variant as opposed to the 74. So much bigger mag. Makes it a little more difficult to find mag pouches for, but other than that, it's the same exact gun in airsoft terms. It's a very solid gun, as you would expect with a more high-end rifle that carries a heftier price tag. Full metal construction, very solid. Everything fits like it should. Everything's very snug. Unlike the Echo 1, this guy is wired to the back, so to access the battery in the stock compartment on this gun in particular, you have to undo the two flathead screws found on the butt plate. Butt plate pops off, you can throw your battery in, put it all back together, and you're ready to rock and roll. One of the cooler features about this rifle is the realistic style bolt assembly, which is noted by taking off the upper receiver, and here you will see you have a very cool working bolt assembly that looks a lot like the real one if you've ever had a real AK apart. So that's just a cool little feature that G&G does to sort of add some realism to the rifles, and I think it's a great touch. Now a downside to having that realistic bolt assembly up top is that if you were to say drop a version 3 fusion engine from Polar Star in this guy, you'd have a lot of issues trying to fit the FCU and battery up here. I've done a few of them, and they're a huge pain in the butt and a hassle that no one really wants to deal with. That problem can quickly be solved by getting a longer wire harness from Polar Star or salvaging one off of a version 2 Fusion engine. Due to that shortened wire harness length that the V3s have, you can't, if you want to wire to the stock V3 wire harnesses are not long enough to make it all the way through the stock, as are the version 2 Fusion engines. The version 2 Fusion engine wire harness, although it is longer, will only come about 2/3 of the way through the stock. So ideally you want to give Polar Star a call and special request a long enough wire harness to do the job for you. Like I said before, this is a bit of a higher end gun, so internals are very, very nice. You get a full metal gearbox with CNC gears, the whole 9 yards. This guy wants just like the Echo 1, shoots right around 400 feet per second. It's built to be a field gun. Brass barrel, very, very nice gun. Shoots around 18 to 20 BBs a second on a 9.6 volt battery. So definitely not something to mess around with when you're on the field. So great field gun. Last but not least, I have another high-end from G&G. This is the RK47. An obvious feature that it has over the last G&G AK is the wood furniture. Although it doesn't look like a lot of wood furniture out there, it's not as shiny or treated. I believe it's some sort of pine, but it is legitimate wood, so I want to get that out of the way. This is another example of an AK-47 due to the larger mag size as opposed to the 74. Another cool feature about this gun is that it utilizes G&G's pneumatic blowback system up top, meaning that every time you fire the rifle, the cylinder siphons a little bit of air out of the air system of the gun and cycles the bolt back about a ½ inch or so. So it's nothing too fancy. It's nothing like you're going to see on any of the Tokyo Marui recoil shock AEGs or any of the other AEGs that utilize such a recoil system, but it is substantial and it is something that makes the gun just a little bit cooler. That's about all I have for you guys today. My beard's getting pretty itchy, so it's time to go. Be sure to check out our channel by following the link in the lower right-hand corner here, otherwise known as the amped symbol. That'll take you to our channel to see more videos and more. Also, keep follow up on our Facebook for more details on AK Month and all of our new products to come. So that's pretty much it. Have a good night, guys.